Hey there, fellow creators, Ben here from Cinder Studios. And you know, artists are often referred to as either being skilled or the word that tends to piss a lot of artists off, talented. But the question is here, is art talent or is it skill? Well, I'm here to tell you that I'm pretty sure that it's both. Stick around. So if you're an artist, I can guarantee you that someone in your family growing up told you, wow, you're really talented. While your fellow artists in the industry might say, wow, you're really skilled at this. But it's like, okay, well, which one is it? And which one is right? First, let's have a look at art as a skill. The ability to draw, paint, sculpt, render 3D images, this is a skill set. It's something you had to work towards, something you had to learn. You didn't, drop out of the womb and immediately know how to draw or paint. No, that's ridiculous. That's not really what people are talking about. But for that reason, art is very much a learned skill set, not necessarily something that you're just naturally good at. Not a lot of people can just pick up a pencil and be good. You have to learn some of those basic skills. Artists are skilled craftsmen. We always have been throughout the course of all of history. We had a skill that was provided for a task. So art is a skill. However, art really is also about talent, which is not a word people like to hear when talking about their art. A lot of artists will hear that and be like, well, that means that you don't think that I worked at it. It's like, that's not what people are saying like 99% of the time. When they say they're talented, usually it's something along the lines of, I could never do that. And the artist usually responds, well, did you try? But the caveat here is, did you want to try? To be an artist, to have the drive and desire to learn drawing and painting, you have to have the interest in doing it first. And not everybody does. Or some people have the interest in doing it, but don't have the drive to push through the discipline of getting better. I talked about this in my part 9 of How to Be an Artist, where I was like, if you don't enjoy the creative process, if you don't like the work of getting there, then it doesn't matter how much you like the pretty thing on your wall. If you don't like the ability to create that and you don't like that process, then obviously you're going to have some serious struggles in going forward that. And a lot of times that's what people are talking about when they talk talent, because it's like, well, if you don't have the natural drive, it's going to be harder for you. I think a lot of time talent is almost mistakenly used in place of the term interest. Another really important factor in the talent side of this is that there's definitely biological and cognitive differences. Well, cognitive is biological, but things that make certain people predisposed just based on genetics, that they are perhaps more predisposed to creative fields. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about having ADHD, and that is like a huge core in my life of what gives me the ability to bounce around and create things that other people who maybe don't have this way of thinking can have a harder time doing. And that is something that's just inherent in me. That's not a skill that I can learn or learned, and it's not something that's necessarily teachable. It's just something about me. Now, this isn't to say that if you don't necessarily have a certain developmental disorder or don't have the certain creative drive sort of in your brain, like wired in, doesn't mean that you can't create and won't be good at it. There's a lot of people that have the creative mindset but don't pursue the arts. They pursue something maybe a little bit to the side of the arts, so like science and engineering, because it's using their brain in a similar way, but not necessarily using it creatively in the art side of things. This, of course, goes back to the, do you have the interest in working on the art in the first place? And in thinking about this mental predisposition to the desire and ability to create, you have to think, I think about it this way. You can train yourself to be a great singer. You can train your voice, you can take voice classes, really learn how to train and manipulate your vocal cords. That's sort of the buildup of learning to draw and paint and learning the skill set. But at the end of the day, you're not going to sing Pavarotti or sing like Pavarotti. You're not going to be a great opera singer if you just weren't born with that voice. So there's the things we can control and cultivate in our work, that's skill. And then there's the natural interest, the way our brains are wired, and how much drive we have based on who we are to make us take that extra step further to push our artwork further and become a better artist. That is something that you can't teach, and that's what people usually talk about when they're saying talent. The combination of skill and talent are important. And again, some of the most skilled people don't have as much natural talent, and the people who are often really natural talent tend to be lax in their skills because they are focused on, I'm naturally good at this, so they don't work as hard. Finding the balance between the two is really, really important. So I think as an artist who many people have told me, hey, you're really talented, well, there's a natural eye for it, sure, but you still have to work at it. And that's really important to know. So to wrap things up, art isn't just a one or the other. It's not talent alone. It's not skill alone. Both are important and both have real-world applications and factors to consider. If you're an artist that always never say talent, never say talent, it's not about excluding one or the other. It's about learning to see both of them and let them work together. If you yourself always consider yourself a really naturally talented artist, or just from what other people have told you, don't be a lazy talented artist. And on the same time, if you're really heavily mindset in the skill side of things, don't be jealous of the people that maybe didn't have to work as hard to maybe see how that line worked and then replicate it. We all have different skill sets. And as artists, if we can recognize that in each other, we can grow and become better artists together rather than separately. So that's about it for this week. Thanks guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts and comments below, because this I feel like can be a hotly debated topic a little bit. But I'm hoping that from what I've said, you've maybe thought about some stuff you hadn't really thought of before. Check me out also in the description box below. Check out my social links. There's a community Discord there where you can talk to me as well as other artists on a more off the public forum kind of way. Also, I've got tons of really cool projects coming up that I can't really talk about yet. So I'm going to hold off on that. Thanks guys for watching. Get subscribed if you're not already. Hit the like button, helps everything out. Keep on creating, and I will see you guys next time. Kind of screwed the end up a little, but don't I do that every week? I mean,